All right, we're gonna call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Mr. Smith? Here. Mr. Becker? Here. Mr. Murray? Here. Mr. Miller? Here. Mrs. Geer?
Here, this time we'll do the pledge of allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time, does anybody on the board desire to add, delete, or separate any items of the consent agenda as proposed? No? All right. So I just need a motion to approve the meeting agenda as presented for the regular board meeting on February 22nd of 2022.
Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Murray? Yes. Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Geer?
Yes, motion carries. This time, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the organizational meeting and regular board meeting held on January 10th of 2022, and the special board meeting also held on January 10th of 2022.
So moved. Support.
Roll call.
Mr. Smith? Yes. Mr. Becker?
Yes.
Mr. Murray? Yes. Mr. Miller? Yes. Mrs. Geer?
Yes, motion carries. At this time, is there any board members with correspondence? Mr. Carroll? Mr. Small?
Yes, I received notification from Mrs. Dreheim of her intent to resign at the end of the school year for the purpose of retirement.
Can you continue recognizing our guests and visitors?
We have a few guests with us. Thank you for being here. If you please just quickly introduce yourself.
Angela Infante, Director of Technology.
Tony Dolan, Technology Coordinator.
Dr. Dolores Swankford, Assistant Superintendent Curriculum.
Jay First, that's the principal.
Brady Roofer, Middle School Principal. Rick Hicks, Bethany's father.
James Rayheim.
Dale Evergreen.
Bill Langston, social studies teacher.
So,
Jenny Conrad.
David Kessler, Bill Ford.
Here. Seeing that we have nobody that registered to address the board, we'll continue on with the presentation. Mr. Farrell, would you do the financial report?
Sure, thank you. Stack of papers here. First report, as always, is our cash reconciliation. This is where our funds are currently housed. We'll then see a financial summary. This is the appropriations that we currently have by fund and object level. Then you will see our cash summary report. This is how many funds we currently have in our district and the amount of money that is in each fund, along with the budget and the balance and what is in POs right now. Next, you'll see the disbursements that we had for the month of January. Then you'll see the general fund graph, and this is for where we currently are with the forecast. Currently, we are 58% of the way through the year. Everything is looking on track. As you can see, the cash balance is pretty much in line with last year. On the back, you will see that broken down into payroll and benefits. Again, tracking with last year. In January, we had our HSA contribution, and that was kind of jumps up our benefits line a little bit, but that will go back down. And the last one is our income tax. We had our last collection in January, and this income tax collection was down 3% compared to the fiscal year 21 January collection. So for these three that we collected so far this fiscal year, we have collected about 96% of what we collected this year or last year for those same collections. So we are down a little bit. It's hard to tell what the next payment will be. It generally is bigger than this payment that we just got, but we are down a little bit for the year. So that will be here in April, and I will let you know as soon as I know. That is all I have for reports.
You had mentioned that we were down more than that from 2 or 3 years ago, pre-COVID.
Correct. I think forget off the top of my head.
I want to say it was
He
15.
told me 15
15%.
Okay, thank you.
in 2020, from 2020.
Correct. Yeah, that's not on this report, but yes, 15% compared to pre-COVID year. Yeah.
Thank you.
Right, any other questions for Mr. Carroll? All right, we'll move into our financial agenda. It is recommended by Mr. Carroll, treasurer, to approve the following financial items. To approve the cash reconciliation, financial summary, cash summary, and disbursement summary, as well as to accept the following donations: $100 unanimous donation to the Student Assistance Fund, $2,000 from Thomas Ott to the Green and Gold Scholarship, $831.98 from MVP to the Elementary General Activity, $100 from Dermelian Chiropractic to Class of 2023. And then we have a few fund-to-fund transfers to approve following appropriations, modifications, and to amend the resources accordingly, and increase the safety grant of $6,268.01, increase the Title I of $1,352.80, increase the Title II-A of $183.59, increase to the ESSER II of $2,346.03, increase to expanding opportunity to the $15.67. At this time, I just need a motion to approve the following January 2022 financial reports.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Keever.
Yes, motion carries. We'll move on to our personnel. We need to offer the following supplemental contract for the 21-22 school year and approve volunteers pending completion of all pupil activity permit requirements. Madison Soltowski, softball coach volunteer. Nelson Holiday, baseball assistant coach. Dylan Hendricks, baseball JV coach. And Trevor Schindorf, baseball freshman coach. We need to accept the resignation of Jane Draheim, Evergreen Elementary principal, for the purpose of retirement. Mrs. Draheim's resignation will become effective on July 1st of 2022. Mrs. Draheim's service to our students and the district is greatly appreciated. And we need to approve the request of a non-paid leave for Rosaline Koch, tentatively beginning on January 31st of 22 and ending April 14th of 22. This time I just need a motion to approve the above listed personnel positions.
So moved. Support.
Any questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Keever.
Yes, motion carries. All right, we'll move on to other business. We need a motion to approve a service agreement with New Horizons Academy at Sarah's Garden Center for educational advancements to provide educational services to a special education student for the 21-22 school year at a cost of $15,750 per semester.
So moved.
Support.
Questions or discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Keever.
Yes, motion carries. This time, we need a motion to authorize membership in the Ohio High School Athletic Association for the Evergreen High School and Evergreen Middle School for the 22-23 school year. The board agrees to conduct Evergreen's athletic programs in accordance with the Constitution, bylaws, regulations, interpretations, and decisions of the OHSAA.
So moved.
Support.
Any questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Bacula,
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Keever.
Yes, motion carries. We need to authorize the Evergreen Board of Education to advertise and receive bids for the purchase of one or more 72 passenger school buses. The Evergreen Board of Education wishes to participate and authorize the Ohio School Council to advertise and receive bids on behalf of said board as per the specifications submitted for the cooperative purchase of one or more 72 passenger school buses.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion?
We're looking for two, correct?
We are looking for 3 because we have a grant that we can get funds to purchase up to 3.
Where are we at on the diesel versus propane? We still about 50-50?
Right now, we're a little heavier on the propane.
Okay.
So we thought we were looking to lean towards diesel. We are meeting with the Cardinal rep this Thursday. He wants to talk to us more about the propane, and the benefits of it. So
We had more problems with propane buses.
We have, but they put a new motor in them. I think he wants to talk to us about improvements made to the propane buses.
Put a new motor in them at whose cost? Our cost or their cost?
They just, it's.
Oh, they put a new and improved one in it. Gotcha, okay.
They moved away from the Ford V12 and V10, and now it is a Ford 8-cylinder, a new motor.
Thank you.
Learn more about that on Thursday.
The
Thank you.
fund is a total payment of 3 buses or grant portion.
We get up to 3 buses and we will get up to $135,000. We have to purchase 3 to get $135,000.
Any further questions or discussions? All right, roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carried. We need to approve the following overnight trip for the Evergreen Wrestling Team to participate in the OHSAA State Wrestling Tournament at the, Coshocton Center in Columbus, Ohio, in March 11th through the 13th. Should any wrestler qualify for the state tournament, Coach Dalton Nicely will be the trip supervisor.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion? All right, so we don't necessarily have anybody going yet.
Correct.
This is, okay,
Won't know for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
all right, any further questions? All right, roll call.
Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Murray.
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. This time, we need to commend the Evergreen High School Quiz Bowl members for qualifying for national competition and to approve an overnight field trip for 6 team members, advisor Bill Blanchong, and other parent chaperones to attend the National Academic Quiz Bowl Tournament to be held in Chicago, Illinois. Attendees will depart on Friday, April 22nd, 2022, and stay at the Hyatt Regency Hotel in Rosemont, Illinois during the competition and return to the district on Sunday, April 24th.
So moved. Support.
Questions or discussion?
How many years in a row is this?
7. The last 2 were canceled. So,
Gotcha.
no.
Congratulations.
And we beat Pettisville tonight for the first time in 4 years, so that was really good. So we're top of the league now on our own.
Awesome.
Good kids.
Further discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller.
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes. Motion carries. All right, we need to approve the following overnight trip for the Evergreen softball team to participate in the Previs Memorial Tournament at 422 West Main Street, LaGrange, Ohio. The team will depart on April 29th of 22 and stay at the Courtyard Hotel, 1755 Travelers Lane, Elraya, Ohio, and return on April 30th, 22. Head coach Jim Zoltowski will be the trip supervisor, and coaches Haley Sen, Hannah Vaughn, and Matt Keller will be the chaperones.
So moved.
Support.
Questions or discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Becker,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Keeper.
Yes, motion carries. All right, move on to discussion and information. Mr. Pomola, would you like to take over?
Yeah, I want to get an update on the locker room renovation and expansion. Phase 1 of the project is almost complete. We are currently waiting on exterior lighting and handrails to gain occupancy. Weight room equipment is off the middle school stage and is being reassembled in the expanded weight room. Spring sports will be utilizing the coach's office and the AD's office to change until we gain full access to the space, which should be in the very near future. Phase 2 of the project began last week with demolition, and estimated completion date for phase 2 is May 1st. So a couple things on the outside that we need to get approved, and then we can get in there, but it's looking really good. Any questions on the renovation? Strategic planning, survey results. Wanted to hit some highlights or themes that came through from those surveys that were done here recently. Under the student surveys, some of the strengths that came through: students feel safe at school, they feel their teachers care about them, and the teachers utilize technology in the classroom. Some areas out of the student surveys, and again, students were surveyed at the elementary in grades 4 and 5, the middle school and all high school. Areas for improvement: student-to-student respect, embracing student differences, and the need for additional supports. From the parent survey, some strengths that came through: the district strives for academic excellence, school personnel are welcoming, community engagement and communication are a strength. A couple areas for improvement: post-secondary planning, the need for improved performing arts facilities, and additional programming for our gifted students, and programming for social and emotional needs of our students in all the buildings. In the staff survey, some strengths that came through: technology to support student learning, clear and consistent communications, and our district facilities were all seen as strengths. Areas for improvement: remediation and intervention services for our students, social and emotional supports for our students, and after-school programs. So there were a lot of questions. Those are just some of the ones that highlighted with, high percentage responses. We'll be digging into that further, refining the 5 areas of the strategic plan, putting some new goals, refining our strategies to achieve the goals, and updating that here in the next few months. So next step is committees within the building, and then we'll start revising that document and providing the board with copies of that, and then ultimately ask for approval going into next school year. Questions?
One of the things that I saw a fair amount was, and I know this is a sticking point, it has been for years now, is the traffic flow at the elementary. And I know we've redesigned it a few times. Are there any, can you think of any capital improvements? I mean, if we put another access in, if we talk to the county again about putting a turn lane, it seems to be a problem that we can't shed without maybe some innovative thought.
Another drive would help. It's worse this year because of the construction project, so the buses are exiting out onto 6. So it will get better next year, but it's, like you said, it's an ongoing problem. So I am open to looking at it. The county did not seem too willing to move on putting a turn lane in or any kind of adjustments, really. I'd like to see how it's going next year with the buses going back to the service road and some coordination of signs. Hopefully we do a little bit better.
Thank you.
Any other questions on the survey results? Last item I wanted to bring up, looking at the middle school, we have begun exploring the possibility of moving the 5th grade to the middle school, which potentially could help the traffic, but looking at some questions, would a move to a true middle school model provide additional learning opportunities for our students? Does a move eliminate space concerns at the elementary? Could we add leadership opportunities for our 5th graders if they were at the middle school? And does a move allow for STEAM and fine arts opportunities that aren't available down there now? So at this time, we're looking to see if a move would provide viable options and opportunities for the kids. We will continue to seek answers throughout this semester and determine, is this something to even pursue or not? But there's a number of things I think we can do for our students if we get them into the middle school. So we're just exploring that possibility now. We've talked with the 5th grade teaching team and the 6th grade teaching team and want to further those conversations. So okay, what can we do better for our students? What else can we provide them if they're in the middle school with more space in that 5 to 8 middle school model? No decision's been made. We are just exploring it. Wanted the board to know that we're looking at that possibility, and the motivation is providing the best for our students. Question?
Would we have to open up the cafeteria?
We are looking at that possibility for speeding up serving for next year. Anyhow, would the whole kitchen need to be opened? No, we're looking potentially serving out of there to make traffic flow easier for next school year already. But with another grade, another, approximately 80 to 100 students, that's one of the factors we would need to look at. Any other questions on the potential of a middle school expansion?
My son wants to know about recess, so.
That is something that, I'd be concerned with too. No, seriously, and is there a way, would the 5th and 6th grade be teamed together where they could have some free time to run around and get some energy out? That would definitely be part of the conversation. He's not alone in asking that.
Very discernible.
So you would, the 5th and 6th would be a team kind of, is what you're looking at model, kind of
Potentially,
moving the
that may be a way we could provide and do some differentiation with the different age levels. But we're not that far yet.
Awesome, okay. All right. Anything else, Mr. Small? All right. Mrs. Durham?
Good evening. First thing here, the SOS tutoring program has been going on for the past couple weeks started out with 23 students. We've enrolled a few more students in the program. It meets Tuesdays and Thursdays after school. It's a funding from a generous donor who allows high school students to get paid to be tutors for our elementary students. So it's going very well. And that is under the direction of Heather Christensen and Abby Pennington. And that will continue through April. Parents do provide their own transportation for that program. Kindergarten registration started on February 1st, and enrollment is going very well. I don't have an exact number right now. It's difficult to wage that because some of our students are currently enrolled in preschool, and then they'll be moving on to kindergarten, but roughly we have about 50 new students. And then we also have our KinderStart students will be staying in kindergarten or attending kindergarten next year. We always get more students enrolling, so we expect that we'll have a good number of students during the next year in kindergarten. The Fulton County Spelling Bee was on February 2nd, and our 4th grade participant was Carly Cook, and Emery Schmidlin in 5th grade also participated in that competition at the Northwest Ohio Educational Service Center. The staff meeting in February focused on gifted identification and services that we could provide to our students through the general education classroom. Kim Reckner gave a presentation to the teachers, offered some resources and some guidance on how students qualify for our gifted programs and the assessment tools that we use, and how we do some additional testing for kids that are on that borderline of not quite making it outright, but that we do screen them after the fact to see if they're eligible for our gifted program. Pint Size Hero is blood drive is Monday at the elementary school from 3 to 8. I know some of you have generously signed up to be a donor. I am myself, so if you're still interested, we do have some openings for anyone that would like to help with our blood drive. The dental outreach program is also going to be on Monday, and they are providing dental exams and cleanings to parents that sign their children up free of charge to participate in that program. They bring their own van with all the equipment inside the van, so it's nothing that the kids have to be inside, or we don't have to find room for them in the school, but it's a really nice program that we can offer to our students. The elementary choir is going to be performing the Star Spangled Banner and some other selections at the Walleye game on April 1st. That's always a great honor for our students to participate in that. And then MVP decided several meetings ago that they just didn't feel they could do justice in providing the school fair this year due to the lack of volunteers and just there are a lot of factors. So instead, they're going to be providing a DJ for the kids. We're going to have a spring fling during the school day that the kids get to dance and have fun, and they're going to be providing the DJ for us before we go on spring break. That's all I have. Does anybody have any questions from? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Ripper?
All right, at the middle school, January 19th, we had our second quarter awards ceremony. This 9 weeks, we had 125 students on the honor roll. We handed out individual teacher awards, no discipline, no missing assignments. We also had our 3 row students, one for each grade level selected. They showed respect, ownership, and working hard in and out of the classroom. That'd be Maybell Rettle in 6th grade, Adam Vaughn in 7th grade, and John Johnson in 8th grade. Also on January 21st, we had our honors breakfast for our students who received straight A's. Thank you, Mr. Baculett, for providing breakfast. I think the kids enjoyed it. Wednesdays, we have activities period. It's new this year. It's a 25-minute period. So we're starting to kind of get in the swing of providing some activities, some programming for students. So I just want, we have mastery hour, we have an entrepreneurship club, anxiety workshop, student council, honor society. So we're starting to fill that up. I just want to thank Some of the staff members, Carrie Klein, Kelsey Wolf, Jenny Burkholder, Melanie Older, Amanda Brame, Abby Pennington, and Heather Christensen. They're going out of their way doing things to provide programming for our students. Also, February 7th was School Counselor Appreciation Week. We would not survive without Amanda Brame in our building, so just thank you to her for everything she does. And the last thing I want to highlight is we did have 3 students who were selected to participate in the Fulton County Spelling Bee. That'd be Nolan Hudick, Bailey Lumbreezer, and Weston Plachakevich. So a lot of good things happening in middle school.
Awesome.
Questions?
Thank you, Mr. Rupert. Mr. Curtis?
Good evening, everybody. We had just finishing our second cycle of our Viking Virtues groups that we have been cycling through. First one, we focused on pride. The second cycle just finished up focusing on respect with about 40 different teacher nominations, highlighting different examples of students showing respect in and around the building. Out of all of those different nominations, our teachers voted and identified one grade level representative from each class. Addison Hill for the 9th grade, Caleb Grasser from the 10th grade, Jordan Witt from the 11th grade, and Evan Lumbreezer from the 12th grade. So those students were rewarded with Chick-fil-A lunch as well as their teacher nominees. So we're getting ready to start our 3rd cycle focusing on responsibility here coming up soon. We had an academic fair last week, first time ever. As we're beginning to start registering students for next year, something that we've consistently heard from staff members and kids and families is like a better opportunity to get to know a little bit about some of the different academic offerings we have at the high school. So last week, Thursday, we had a chance for all 8th graders through 11th graders to cycle through different presentations from high school staff members. They shared anything from pacing with regard to how you pace through different like math, social studies, English content. Students learned a little bit more about the arts, different arts offerings that we have, as well as some of the different elective offerings that we have in some of our academic areas. So we hope that gives students some additional feedback and some things to think about as they're starting to register for classes for next year. Also, I think we had some really nice electives that would do a really good job of interesting kids, and hopefully getting kids some additional information on what those electives entail and what some of those classes include and how they can benefit kids will be an asset once we start scheduling for next year. We had Mrs. Lumbreezer has been working with a group of school counselor representatives from other schools in our local area. They have coordinated and scheduled a college visitation night for March 8th. Evergreen, along with Ottawa Hill, Springfield, Sylvania schools, and Whitmer have organized an opportunity at the University of Toledo to host more than 50 college admissions representatives to be able to ask and answer questions from students and families interested in looking at different colleges in the area. So we encourage students to attend that if you're interested in college after high school. Next, I have a neat opportunity to identify a couple of different really amazing kids. Ben Saunders has been declared the local county, state, and district winner for the American Legion oratorical contest. He is going to be competing at the state level in Delaware on March 6th. So far, he's won approximately $700 in scholarship money as a part of this contest. So congratulations to Ben if he's here. The next 3 students have exceeded expectations and done a really nice job in the Americanism and Government test. Olivia Eisel is the top female scorer in Northwest Ohio, so congratulations to Olivia, did a really nice job. Ellie Johnson is one of the top 6 junior girls in the state. The top 3 were eligible to attend an all expenses paid trip to Gettysburg. So if one of those top 3 girls is unable to attend, Ellie will be next in line to be able to participate in that competition. But Jacob Goodson, who is here today, here's your hand, Jacob. He doesn't like attention, but he's an amazing kid, really smart kid. Jacob placed in the top 3 of all junior boys in the entire state of Ohio on the Americanism and Government test. So extremely impressive job. Great job, Jacob. And he will be going on an all expenses paid trip to Gettysburg in Washington, D.C. as well. So congratulations to all of those students. Owen Cromley, another student. Owen Cromley was accepted. Not only we formally announced our valedictorian and salutatorians today. Owen Cromley will be the class of 2022 valedictorian. Chloe Creaky will be the salutatorian for this year's graduating class. Owen Cromley was formally accepted here within the past week or so to Washington University in St. Louis. Some of you who may not be familiar with Washington University, it's an extremely prestigious university, approximately a 16% admission rate. They're touted with, as of 2020, 25 different Nobel laureates have been affiliated with Washington University. And in 2019, they were ranked as 7th in the world for the most cited researchers. So extremely prestigious opportunity. Congratulations to Owen. Owen was also identified as the county the Evergreen representative for Franklin B. Walter. So, extremely impressive young man, and big congratulations to him and all of his hard work. Last but not least, we have obviously graduation is coming around here soon. So here within the next week, we're finalizing last minute details for the senior mailer that will be going out here soon. So anything related to academic awards, graduation, anything coming up related to senior information, all of that stuff will be coming out in the next week. So we'll send a digital copy out as we would normally, but we'll also be sending them out in the mail. Because we know many families like to hang them on the refrigerator to provide some attention to. So if you're a senior parent or no senior parent who's wondering what's going on, typically we like to have those things out before March 1st. So those will be coming out here anytime. Any questions from anybody? Thank you.
Thank you. Angela, Tony.
Good evening, I'll go first. Tony's got a few things he'd like to talk to you about the elementary. We will be looking to purchase our Chromebooks for our 3rd, 6th, and 9th grade students here soon. We're also looking at purchasing some new cases to replace some of our older cases that have been through about 4 years of use, and they're showing it. I've also asked the middle school and high school principals to look at where they stand as far as needing clever touches in classrooms. We were about through the whole cycle, but I've got them on task talking to the teachers to figure out where there is a need for those. With the athletic additions or renovations, we will be adding in some new wireless access points so that there will be wireless connectivity in the weight room, in the film room, and in those areas, as well as down in the middle school coaches, the girls, not middle school, the high school girls coaches area. We're also adding in a new wiring closet down in that same girls coaches area to accommodate the access points, the phones that will be down in that area, the security cameras, just an overall network closet, basically. We've got Nawaka is looking at getting us some prices on that. We've applied for E-rate for reimbursement for our 60% reimbursement for that. We're also in discussion with Lexcom and some other fiber providers to provide internet access to our press box out at the Piper Field, so that we'll have internet availability out there. I spoke with our sales rep with Perry Protect on our copiers. We signed a contract back with them in the end of December, and they were supposed to be getting us some of our new copiers in shortly after the first of the year. We're now almost to March and still haven't seen them. Their comment was, it's like everything else, it's being delayed because of supply and demand. So we're still waiting on that. When we actually get the new copiers, our cost per copy will go down a fair amount. So we're looking forward to that. Our Chromebooks should have all been updated in December to get them prepared for the end of course testing, which will happen starting in April. And then we're also looking at, instead of putting a clever touch in the athletic film room, we're looking at putting just a larger TV and outfitting it with what they call a Chromecast, so that they can actually wirelessly connect to that TV set and put content up. So that's where we stand, kind of in the high school, middle school side of the world. Any questions for me before I turn it over to Tony?
So MVP was generous enough to purchase a TV for our elementary building that's going to be hung up in the lobby. Just like the high school has plasma TVs, and the middle school cafeteria has one. I asked them to provide one for us so that we can have that same opportunity for the elementary kids to have lunch menus, district announcements, birthdays, anything that's up and coming that, the kids will enjoy. And thankfully, Brian and MVP said they would purchase it for us. So it has been purchased. The TV's in my office. Brian and I hung the mount last Friday during PD day. And Brent's running electrical tomorrow, and hopefully by the end of the day tomorrow, the TV should be hung. After that, we're just gonna connect the Chromecast to it, and there'll be a Chromebook probably in my office. I'm gonna be in charge of keeping it up to date for now, but we may possibly look at maybe turning that into something that students could do within Google Slides. So that is nice. So thank you, MVP, for that donation. I got a 3D printer. We had it purchased about 4 years ago at the elementary for an after-school program. It wasn't working very well. It sat in my office for about 2 years. Finally got that fixed and up and running. So I'm working with Kim Reckner. We're going to start letting some of the students in her class, if she's familiar with it. They're going to start doing some brain teaser games like puzzles, but they're actually going to be printing the puzzle pieces for those brain teasers. So I'm going to be stopping down there periodically, helping out with that as time permits for my schedule. So that's something we're excited about. And moving forward with 3D printing, Angela and I have talked about potentially looking at some STEAM opportunities for our whole district, to where maybe some of our visual arts teachers could also get maybe some training and have some neat projects for these kids to do with 3D printers. So that is going to be excited. I know my daughter's in 4th grade and she's very excited to start printing brain teaser puzzles. And lastly, I've been working with a developer from School Messenger for about 5 months now, since August of last year. All of our data that is put into final forms is sent to PowerSchool, and it's stored in what they call a contacts table. Well, School Messenger, which we use for all of our notifications for delays, cancellations, those were pulling from customized fields that Angela and I had created years ago. So it was like we were having to double entry. Our secretaries were having to take the numbers and emails from the contacts table and putting them in these custom fields. Well, after 5 months working with this developer, they finally got it written to, it communicates with our contacts table. So the data is literally going from Final Forms to PowerSchool, and then PowerSchool to School Messenger. We did have a snafu the first week we rolled it out, but where the notification got sent to emergency contacts. I'm sure you heard about that, but we've got that sorted out. That shouldn't happen again moving forward, but it's going to be great the way it works now. I'm actually putting some documentation together that I will be posting on the website and social media on how parents can actually log in now to their PowerSchool parent portal. And there's a School Messenger link to where they can log into School Messenger and actually set up their preferences as to how they want to be contacted. That really hasn't been an option in the past. They've had to call the school to do it. They will not have to do that now. They can't change the data, so they can't change numbers, but they can at least set up, hey, I want just a text message or just an email instead of getting it 3 times. So that is going to be posted soon. As soon as I get it wrapped up, I will be posting that along with possibly a video tutorial. Because some people it's easier to watch a video than go through a PDF. So that's all I got.
Mr. Samoa.
Just a couple things to add. In collaboration with Fulton County, Ohio Means Jobs, Evergreen will be hosting a career day on March 23rd. Our high school juniors and seniors will create a resume, learn interview skills, and have the opportunity to participate in mock interviews. The mock interviews have the potential to lead to an actual job for our students at the end. And, excuse me, last thing, our health assessment students in grade 6, 9, and 11 were part of the Fulton County Health Assessment this fall. Our participation allows us to provide and receive feedback on our students' physical and emotional health. Our data that we got back is consistent with the schools of Fulton County. This information helps us gauge how to best meet our students' needs going forward with physical and emotional concerns. So we are working through that data currently to see what we need to provide our students. Any questions? Excuse me.
All right. Are there any board members with questions or concerns? I have two. When we get occupancy in to our addition, can we schedule something for the board to see?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I plan when the whole project is done to have a night where the whole community can come in, because there'll be no other time to get them in the locker room. So I
Mhm.
want everyone the opportunity to see it.
Awesome.
But I can take the board through
Yeah, if we can
separately
either
if you
do it
want,
before
if you-
meeting or something, so we can, once we.
schedule that in front of the March meeting or right after, one or the other. We can
Yeah,
make that happen.
because it'll be that soon that we can get through this, then.
We can get through the phase 1, which is
Yeah.
the north side, the boys in the weight room and the film room, yes.
Okay, awesome. My second question was, this weekend with our weather and we had some tournaments, I received a few text messages regarding our Sunday practice policy. I went through all of board policy handbooks, and the only place I can find it is in the coach's handbook. That Sunday, no practice Wednesday after 6, and Sunday, there's exceptions, from the superintendent is allowed to make exceptions. I would like to revisit this section, and talk about this. This weekend, Saturday, the girls are supposed to have their basketball game. It was level 2 out here. So per contract with our teachers in Oaksey, we are not allowed to have a bus hit the road at level 2 or 3. So we had to cancel that game. The girls had then moved, their game was Monday at Lake. So with our rule, they aren't allowed to practice on Sundays. Unless it's approved. This really only happens with basketball, and with my last 7 years on board, I think I've dealt with it 3 times. So it's not a huge window or door that we're opening up here for, we're not gonna have 30 different requests for this. It happens because of the weather, and it happens usually tournament time. So I'd like to revisit and maybe change the verbiage on it about, because why we initially did it was for family time and religion. That they had time to go to church and they weren't held against, nothing mandatory if they went to church. I'd like to keep it that way, but I'd like to maybe change the verbiage on that so that Mr. Samola has a little bit more clarification on how that is. I know in the past, we've had some adamant no's about it, and I just want him to feel more comfortable to be able to grant that, because in different religions, Sunday's not always the day they practice. Some religions, it's Fridays, and so our policy doesn't even cover everything. So I'd like to revisit that. I don't know if you guys want Mr. Small and I to write something up different and bring it to board in March. Do you guys have any discussions or comments?
Did anyone make a call to you?
No.
For Sunday?
Yes.
And
Okay.
no, she did not practice Sunday. They were able to practice Saturday. When she found out the game was canceled, she called in practice. But every other school that was in that tournament, they had their hands on balls Monday night, like Sunday for Monday's game. So it's not very fair because of how our procedure is, for our teams. I'd like to
No, I agree.
revisit it and write.
Discussed this once.
We have, I think it happened with the boys about 2020 when they were in the tournament right before COVID hit.
It was when we first came out.
Yeah.
It was like 8. It
Well,
was
no,
like
that wasn't
18 or
a
19.
tournament. It was a Friday night game, Saturday night game, Monday.
And then
They
they didn't
presented-
have
they
Monday, theirs
presented
was
the board.
Tuesday. And so I think we need to just revisit it.
I'm open into listening, but quite honestly, I'm pretty pretty firm on no Sundays. But I'll be, I would certainly listen to verbiage changes, but Sundays, even if it's not a religious day, it's a family day, the kids kind of need.
And like,
I
if
mean,
we keep
quite
the-
honestly, I think our families are disintegrating, our sports teams are not. and I
If
think
we
our
keep the
families need that time.
non-mandatory, I mean, that to me,
And I've been on sports teams, non-mandatory practices or mandatory practices in a lot of people's eyes. So, like I said, I'd be willing to look at new verbiage, but in general, I'd be more apt to let Wednesday nights go than Sundays.
even, so like this circumstance, we had to cancel her Saturday game because of weather. Luckily, they were able to pull a practice together Saturday. Their game was moved to Monday. So she didn't have any other option. If I was asked, if Mr. Small said, hey, and called me, I would have said, yeah, grant that, like,
I understand, I just don't want to, I'm not necessarily against that, I just don't want to swing the doors wide open.
and
And
like
go,
I
okay,
said,
Sundays,
yeah, no, I don't think, and I don't think our coaches want to be here Sundays either. I don't see them going, we're gonna practice 7 days a week. You know what I mean? I see them still
I
keeping their.
can see some coaches doing that.
I-
I mean, I can, and I'm just, quite honestly, like I said, I think it's really tricky territory. I'm not against a verbiage change, but I'd like to see it before I would go along with it.
I guess I would second Tom's point in terms of, I'm happy to look at it. I don't know what it would look like. You do probably need to make some accommodations if it's Sunday, why can't it be Friday too? I mean, that's.
Well, that's what I mean.
That's a good point.
There's special occasions. I mean,
There
but
probably needs to be like an update.
anybody whose kids are in sports, they spend a hell of a lot of time at practice already. If we open up, Wednesday nights and Sundays, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. But I would certainly listen to a verbiage change, and I think there could be some exceptions.
We could do Eric, if Eric wants me to sit on it and talk to him too, because I got multiple complaints about it, so. I'm willing to do that, if you just want to be in Derek and you bring it to me and then.
Why don't we
can-
do that? I'll
Okay,
give you a draft and go from there.
okay, awesome. Those are the only two things I have. Does anybody else have anything? All right, then, we need a motion to move into the executive session for members of the Evergreen Local Board of Education, superintendent, treasurer, and invited guests to go into executive session for the following reasons: to consider the employment of public employees, prepare for negotiations or bargaining sessions with employees concerning compensation and other terms and conditions of employment. And after the executive session, there will be no action. So,
So forward.
all right, a roll call.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Beckwith,
Yes.
Mr. Murray,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mrs. Bieber.
Yes, motion carried.